Hello everybody, welcome to Human Anatomy and Physiology. This is Dr. Singh. Isn't this just a wonderful looking car? I mean, who wouldn't want it? Whether or not we like cars, we can definitely agree that this is a fine work of machinery when it comes to sports cars. We all know that this sports car is not just one big piece of machinery, it's actually made up of many smaller subunits or smaller parts. Now we can take some of those smaller parts and build bigger parts. We can create the headlight, we can create the engine, we can create the steering wheel, allowing us to move one way or another with the help of the wheel. Now, the human body is also indeed an amazing machinery. It is also very similar to a sports car built upon smaller subunits. And when we study the human body, we study them at various levels. The smallest level at which we are going to start to study the human body is going to be at the chemical level, and eventually move our way up into eventually the organism level. Now we can take the bigger parts, which we had created from the smaller parts, and then try to interconnect them to each other to help us to build systems. For example, within a car we have this engine cooling system, which is made up of bigger parts all sort of interconnected to each other, eventually draining into the engine to allow it to efficiently work without overheating. Now in the human body, very similarly, we have systems, and we have 11 of them. These systems are going to allow the bigger parts or the organs to connect to each other to allow us to accomplish a common goal. Let's take an example and compare it to that of a car. Let's take the skeletal system. The skeletal system, let's compare it to that of a chassis of a car or a framework of a car. So what does the framework allow us to do? Well, the framework allows us to put something to the inside of it, for example, maybe an engine. It also allows to put something to the outside of it, for example, maybe a door. And also with all these many holes, we can also pass through many of the wires, allowing us to connect from one part of the body to the other part of the body. Very similarly, the skeletal system accomplishes similar goals. With the help of the skeletal system and its framework, we can protect internal organs that may be found on the inside of this framework of the human body, or we can attach stuff to the outside of the skeletal system. For example, we can lay muscles on top of it, we can lay skin on top of it, and allowing us to separate the internal and the external environment. Also, additionally, through the many various little holes inside of the skeletal system, we can pass vessels and nerves through them to allow us to then interconnect the various parts of the human body. As we move on through the course, we're going to learn all about the 11 systems of the human body, and first very superficially in regards to their general functionality, and then in much more detail as we move further along into the course. Now, we appreciate that the car is made up of many parts. To truly appreciate its full structure, we need to sort of be able to move around the whole car to appreciate and view it from various angles, both externally and even internally. Very similarly, to do this in the human body, we have something called planes of section. Basically, it's taking a view of the human body from various angles to allow us to see different parts of the body and different organs within that region that we may be looking at from that particular viewpoint. Beyond that, we also have radiological imaging studies that allow us to look into the human body at various angles, just as we would with a car. I'm definitely no expert when it comes to sports cars, so I'll leave that for another instructor in another course, but I like to take you on a journey to learn about this amazing human body and in regards to how it is structured and how it functions over the next couple of weeks. Good luck to everybody as you get ready to begin this wonderful course.